know that I don't deserve the contract, but because I'm friends with that particular person or I'm giving certain amount of money, I'm getting that contract, then I'm damaging the prospects of every other business, right? So there is a book called as Why Nations Fail. There is a very wonderful book called as Why Nations Fail. So in it, the authors discuss about a particular case study. Carlos Slim, he was a Mexican billionaire. Okay, so he was very good, or he was very well connected with the political masters of the Mexican government. So he created a near monopoly of telecom sector. That is why he became a billionaire. So what happened because of that? He is providing services, fine, but he at the same time destroyed the ecosystem of the country, right? Business ecosystem. Yes.
Even the negative manifestation, all of them flow into each other, right?
Everything will flow. See, again, I have to be corrupt someone. If I am a honest politician, all the pressure in the world cannot make me do things I don't want to do. Yes, Lal Bahadur Shastri is the best example we take. Whenever there was a railway incident, he resigned out of morality, moral obligation, right? See, I have failed to uphold my duty. Yes. So for example, if there is a attack like 26/11, so the home minister should have a moral obligation to resign, or is it not the right time to resign because the country is already in crisis?
Set things right and then take
Set things right. Okay, fine. He has to at least have that moral obligation, right? At least he has to offer the resignation to the prime minister. Then the discretion of the prime minister to accept it or not should be there. So if I am the security head of the country, 26/11 happened under my watch, so probably I have moral obligations. I failed. See, you cannot say, Maharashtra police are not under me or someone. Entire nation security is under you. That is your role. When you get the rewards, you also get the brick bats. Clear? Yes. So see, that is the highest level of ethical practices. If you set the highest level, then your accountability will also in the same level. If anything anywhere happens in the country, I will be resigning. So first of all, my job is to what? To make sure that such incidents are not happening. So if someone comes and says, there is no marine petrol, 200 crores will be the cost, right? I should have the moral authority to persuade the prime minister to give me 200 crores to set up a extra task force.
So, but failure is a good teacher. So probably if you're in power, you won't let that happen the second time. And if there's somebody new,
he can do better also.
Particular situation.
He can do better also.
Oversight should also be a point.
See, again, I don't want to trivialize that particular thought process. Very good. Let's say, good doctors are created by lot of practice, right? You kill some patients to become good doctor. Okay. So, yeah, definitely he will become a better home minister. But he might also continue the same thought process. He may or may not learn from the particular debacle, right? Okay. If you honestly take today's Indian marine coastal security, we have added few boats and few things. But Tamil Nadu coast is vulnerable. So terrorist won't come through the same door every time, right? So he will also get smarter. He will also adapt to the circumstances. Yes, you were saying something? Foresight is also an important quality. Yes, again, we are not discussing the merits and demerits of the particular individual. We are saying the moral standards that are to be set. Yes, so home ministership or prime ministership is not a job, right? It's a responsibility to protect the 1.3 billion population. So if 26/11 is a major debacle, then you should have that moral thought process. At the same time, people asked for war. We should go to war with Pakistan. You should have the urge not to go to war with Pakistan immediately, because for 169 innocent souls, you will be killing thousands more. Right? And still you are not going to get the proper justice for the victims. Yes. Now, this is a simple topic, consequences. What happens when we have ethics? The consequences are important. As I told you, thinking in mind is not ethical. I mean, it doesn't have ethical judgment. If someone is thinking something in the mind, okay, that is not subjected to be judgments or scrutiny. How will I know in the first place? Yes or no? So, but if you bring religious ethical angles, what will happen? They say in Kali Yuga, if you think bad, okay, it's equivalent to committing the crime. Yes or no? If you think bad, it's equivalent to committing a crime. Then that religious morality is coming into the picture to keep you honest even in your thoughts. Why did they bring that religious doctrine? Thoughts are manifested into actions. So as James Allen rightly points out, circumstances does not make a man, they reveal him to himself. So if you are honest to the core from deep down your thoughts, okay, even when you get an opportunity to do corruption, you won't do corruption, but you always wanted to secretly, subconsciously, 0.1%, even you didn't know that you wanted to be rich, super rich, you wanted to drive a BMW. All these deeply manifested thoughts are there. Then what happens? The moment you see an opportunity, you will tilt towards that. So circumstances don't make a man, they reveal him to himself, right? So first point is positive feedback loop, or what in the DK Balaji he mentions as social capital. So what is positive feedback loop? If X is honest, if a father is honest, right, his son will also be probably honest, more probably honest fellow, right? If somebody is abusing domestic violence in their home, the children who grew up in that particular home also will go for the same set of standards. Most of the times, it's not like universal rule, but the thing is, bad parenting leads to bad outcomes, bad societies, bad families will create bad societies. So good families or happy families create good and happy societies, good individuals create good families, so everything will flow into each other. So if society is happy, it will create more honest individuals. If more honest individuals are there, more happy societies are created. Now what is happiness? Happiness is a subjective term, yes or no? So that is why UPSC has asked a question in 2013 or 14, I guess, what is happiness? So for you to appreciate the ethics or consequences of ethics, you need to know the outcome is happiness. So what constitutes happy societies? Trust between the people, okay.
Equal distribution of resources.
Equal distribution of resources. We will come to resources, okay. Yeah, good.
Like people are able to access effort and make it accessible to affordable.
Accessibility, affordability and availability of resources will be there. Again, resources is a point. Like happiness, what makes a happy society? No discrimination. Okay, so how do good ethics lead to no discrimination? All are equal. That is law.
It's when my social transactions are being completed. So if I'm doing something, I'm getting the equal value in return in terms of respect or money or equal social experience.
Okay.
And then I'm equally contributing to the same.
Okay. So safety or happiness of the society. Like for example, you plan something. I will go from point A to point B. I will walk, or I will do cycling, or I will achieve these things. I will gain these things. So you set a set pattern, right? And nobody is going to disrupt you unless there is a real emergency. Yes. So only in a ethical society you can plan like this. So for example, if your mom wants to go to the nearest shop and come back, there is no guarantee, right? There is a chain snatcher, okay, or some other crime will happen. Then you are creating a chaotic society. Yes. So when you are worried about your own survival, you won't go through the higher levels of Maslow hierarchy theory. Yes or no? So all your focus will be on the basic survival and sustenance, not through the highest levels. Only when you create ethical societies, you go for higher aspirations. Clear? Now, when overall happiness is there, everybody will prosper, everybody will study, social capital is created. When social capital is created, you will have multiple outcomes. Things which probably you don't even know exist can come into the picture. Yes? Now, as I told you, ethical society will lead to ethical individuals, and ethical individuals are creating ethical societies. It's a closed feedback loop. So either it can be positive feedback loop or negative feedback loop. Sorry. Now, why ethical societies are important? Again, ethical societies create ethical leaders. Leadership is very important. Yadha Raja Tada Praja. That is the most important thing. Yes. So when we are like masses are there, like 1.3 billion population is there. If there is an ethical leader, that society is reinforced that we have to create a ethical society. At an individual level, I cannot see the macro picture. At an individual level, I cannot see the macro picture. I am honest per se, and I believe everybody is honest. Yes, but if the leader is honest, what will happen? The message is sent on a regular basis. As I told you yesterday, Obama's example, when you don't criticize a woman for her personal choices or mistakes she has done, you are being like a parent or like someone elder who is understanding rather than judging. Yes or no? Most children don't talk to their own parents. They prefer to talk to their friends. Friends know more about their sons or daughters, right? Why? Constant fear of being judged or being punished. Yes or no? And just like that Bommarillu movie, saying one thing like be friends with me is one thing, and actually being friends is a whole different scenario. So Hobson's choices should not be there in ethics. That means you should actually have choices. So why leaders are important, I will tell you. When say for example Gandhi or anyone, even you take Prime Minister Narendra Modi, right? So he is known for not being corrupt, and nobody in the planet can say that he is a corrupt person. Like he doesn't go for monetary assets. That is his biggest strength. Yes. So he gains a lot of moral authority just by that one particular trait. Why? I cannot say that he is doing something for his own personal gain. And that creates a benchmark in the society that my government does not entertain corruption. And to his credit, in last 6 years we have hardly seen any corruption. Now we don't want to go into the grey areas, but per se corruption, like earlier governments, you don't see some single thing. Yes. Okay. When a leader is not corrupt, when a leader is sacrificing everything for the country, it sets the tone for entire next generations that I also should have the same mindset. You take Abraham Lincoln. He has such high moral standards. He abolished slavery. There was no two ways about slavery. Slavery is wrong. That is an ethical standard, and he was willing to go to war to break the country for the sake of banning slavery. So are you willing to go for such thing, or you can compromise? Always you can compromise, right? He was a white fellow. Abraham Lincoln was a white person. So he could have said, okay, let slavery continue. Why will I lose my presidentship? But he was willing to sacrifice everything in his life for fighting slavery. He made a choice, and the choice consequence is what? He was shorted by John Wilkes Booth. So he paid with his life so that his ethical standards are upheld. So leaders set the tone for entire generations. So that is the power of a leader. So you being an individual is one thing, right? You being district collector and saying plant trees in every birthday, probably an entire generation of school kids will start believing you. Yes, and they aim for better things, and that creates better societies. This is called as bully pulpit. Bully pulpit means having power over certain things. If I say, please plant the trees, people close to me or people who want to listen to me might plant the trees for 1 or 2 days. But if I am an IAS, if I am a Prime Minister of the country, I can make lot of people do lot of good things. For that, ethical leaders have come from societies. So societies play a very big role, and they reinforce and feed on each other. See, again you might feel like it's the same thing, but the thing is you have to understand the intricacies. Opposite is true. Corruption. Yada raja tada praja. If this person is corrupt, okay, the competitor is corrupt, then what will happen? People will ask, both are thieves. Okay, what's wrong to vote for the thief number 1? What happened? The entire society's moral standards have come down. Okay, let's not going into personal details. We can take Andhra as an example. Yes, so if I blame party A, party B will blame me on a personal level. Okay, both of us are blaming on a personal level. Then what did we do? We started blaming institutions. Now nobody in Andhra actually believes the High Court of Andhra Pradesh. What happened? You created a society which doesn't have trust in the institutions. Yes or no? Now, why do courts need to have trust? When courts are not trusted, I will go for offline panchayati. Yes or no? That is what we call as settlements. So who will do settlements? Matsya Nyaya will come into the picture. What is Matsya Nyaya? The big fish will eat the smaller fish. So the people with the more power, they will set the tones. Yes or no? Say for example, Hare Krishna's land is being occupied by Srinidhi. Srinidhi is very well connected to the chief minister or home minister of a particular state. He is also belonging to the same state. He actually is supposed to go to the court. The courts are supposed to provide him some relief. Now, Matsya Nyaya will prevail. People with power will take and occupy. Then tomorrow what will he do? Will he believe in courts or will he teach his son, you also develop relations with politicians? Right? So, at the end of the day, we are running backwards rather than forward. So, that is the deep impact of each and every individual. A single corrupt judge, a single corrupt politician, a single corrupt anyone will create disruptions in the society which will have longer ramifications. We don't know when we see them. One chief justice, what will happen? One chief justice skipping the sexual harassment case, what will happen? In your own lifetime, you have seen that particular case, right? See, Gogoi. Okay, you don't see any ramifications on the ground. Did the world stop spinning? Nothing, right? Supreme Court is going as usual. Everything is going as usual. But what are the longer ramifications? I lost trust on the Supreme Court in relation to that particular case, and it is also setting tone for the next generation of judges or someone. When you are in power, you can do anything and get away. That may not be the lesson I want to take, but that may also be the lesson I will take. Yes? Now, it's a very simple explanation, right? Ethical individual, families and societies, they feed on each other. Individuals create families, families create societies. Families create good societies and good individuals. It works both the ways. Break in any way will lead to break in everything. So, not going by maths formulas generally, plus and plus. Okay. So, individuals, families and societies. Now, what are resources? Let's take a small hamlet somewhere in a old country, like thousands of years ago. Let's imagine a small hamlet with 16 homes or 16 people, right? So this is a group of people who came together and started living in a small hamlet some 1,000 years ago, right, or 5,000 years ago. And all these 16 families have access to the same watering hole. So the water fills from the ground, like there is some water source. Okay, so each family gets 1 liter of water. Okay, so normally every day that pit will give 17 liters of water. So 1 liter is reserve. Sometimes emergencies might happen, something might happen, anything can happen. So 1 liter reserve will always be there in the watering hole. Now every family will go and get 1 water. So every plus is 1 liter. Minus is 2. Every minus is 2. So if everybody is following this, okay, everybody is happy. Yes, if everybody is getting water, everybody is happy, and we can uphold the ethical values or moral values in the society. Why? We all know that there is a limited source. We have to be moral. It's not ethical, it's moral, right? I know personally I have to take only 1 liter of water. Now what will happen if more and more people decided to take the resources instead of following the norms? This will happen. Why? First 4 people went and take the same 1 liter of water, but 2 plus 2 1. By the time it reached this home, okay, the water is gone. So the last 4 families are not having any water. So for 1 day they will bear, second day they will bear, third day what will they do? They will either go earlier or they will start taking more water. Like, you people will cheat me, so I will take 4 liters of water and save it. So you have broken down the entire system. Because of what? It started with this person. Yes or no? So that means resource can be anything. It can be it can be a promotion in a job. It can be a project for a company. Yes, it can be anything. But the first breakdown will always have implications on someone else. Yes, see, you are going to be a public servant, right? That is why I have picked up this resources example, because you need to know how resources have to be distributed in a equitable fashion, not equality fashion, equitable fashion. Sometimes there is a marriage in a family. I need 2 liters. Tomorrow your family might have marriage. I will allow the 2 liters. So that's a equitable agreement that all of us came together. But in the larger Sumant, if you are sleepy, you can go and sleep somewhere else. Okay, right. So if you are equitable, if you are breaking that equitable principle, what will happen? Unnecessarily, right? You don't have any need, but you are breaking that particular thing. Have you seen that Telugu movie Vedam? Because he wanted to gift a iPhone to girlfriend, okay, he becomes a chain snatcher. Okay, that is something that our basic principles will stop. Yes, if everybody who wants an iPhone starts snatching the chain, what will happen? People will suffer. Yes or no? So somewhere, somehow we have to draw that particular line. Now, all of you have joined as an IAS, all 4 of you have joined as an IRS in the same batch. As I told you, those who promote the psychophancy or those who bend to the rules of the ministers, they will be promoted quickly. The honest will be punished. So it doesn't happen, it doesn't mean that you will be removed from the job or something like that. You will be demoted, you won't be getting the promotions, or you will be getting the jobs in the remotest corners, like the places which are not comfortable. What will happen? Is there any incentive for this particular person to be honest? You can still be honest. Yes, but are you willing to pay the consequences? So again, this plus or minus is binary. In real life, for a second you are plus, the next second you are minus. You know, you have to take a U-turn for 1 kilometer, or just you have to take the wrong route for 10 meters. Which one will you prefer? Depends on if there is a traffic constable, we will take the U-turn. If there is no traffic constable, we will go for the wrong route. You can see right now, Lakunta, any place, any U-turn, yes, any U-turn, you can see thousands of U-turns. Yeah, yes, exactly. Then in front of Dhanvantari itself, that particular scenario manifests, right? I have to go either that way or I can go just this way. Yes, so for a second I am plus, the next second I am minus, and it keeps on changing. But I don't know the consequences. Yes, you can always understand, right? Near miss, hundreds of accidents are missed every day because of the wrong routes. Somebody will always come from the wrong route suddenly out of the street, and people will be going very quickly. So if I am totally new to that particular area, I am going at a 60 or 70 speed, suddenly someone comes from the wrong road and a collision happens, and life will change forever. People will get handicapped, or anything can happen. Lives will change overnight. So is it worth the 10 seconds or to save that 100 meters or that 0.1 liter of petrol? Is it worth it to take a human life? We don't think in such fashion, right? We always think our convenience is more important. But when you are in a society, this is what you are creating. So every minus is someone breaking a red signal. As long as you get away with it, no problem. But the moment you hit someone, someone's life is changed forever. You drank two more shots of vodka than you are supposed to. Okay, at that point nothing happened. But when you are driving back home, you jumped off a flyover and you killed a school girl. This happened in Hyderabad, by the way. Right? So, was that the girl's fault? Yes? So, don't you know what was happening? So, every minus will have long-term implications. So, if you understand this minus concept, or if you understand this ramification concept, every decision that you are going to take in the future as a bureaucrat or in ethics case studies, you will understand what might look for an instant may be permanent. You have done corruption. Let's say, your wife's or your girlfriend's birthday was there. You wanted to surprise her, right? So you purchased a 5 lakh rupees necklace or something. For a 50,000 rupees salary guy, 5 lakh is a huge amount. you have done corruption for one and only time in your lifetime. And unfortunately, the minister came to find out that particular information. Your own subordinate went and told, sir, these are the receipts. Okay, now you are in the pocket of the minister. From there on, he will, juice you like a sugar cane. The pulp won't also be left out. Yes or no? Why? For the first time, you have done something stupid, and that is all. Can he come and tell you do this when you are a plus? Even the Prime Minister of India cannot make you do things you don't want to do because you are constitutionally protected. Yes or no? See, when someone becomes an IAS, he knows he is worth something. He doesn't care whether he have a job or not. He will always be something in the society. You can create academies, get venture capital. Yes? Yes or no? I hope you understand the plus and minus concept. So it applies to family levels. Yes or no? Let's say a newly married couple is there. For the first time you have beaten your wife. Right? What are the ramifications?
If she doesn't say anything for the first time, it may continue for the lifetime.
It may continue for the lifetime. Or else worst case scenario is societal morality will come into the picture. The feet of the husband is the temple. You have to stay there only. So a lot of drama will happen. But you are setting a tone for the entire society, right? You know your neighbors are always fighting, but none of us will knock their doors. Yes? So we are setting a tone in the society. So children who grow up seeing all these things, they think it's a common practice. Cleaning your room is not throwing all your stuff in almara and closing the door, right? That is what societies do. That is what most of us do. Okay, cleaning your room is arranging things in their proper place. It will take time, energy. Easiest way, throw everything in the cupboard, close the door tightly. Two ways to do the things. So most of the times we do the cupboard thing. But system to work, we have to solve the structural issues. So if someone is doing wrong thing for the first time, all of us has to come together and stop this. But in a 16 family hamlet, it's easy to do. But in a 1000 family Hyderabad, in a 1000 resident Hyderabad colony, how will you do that? There is this Akbar Birbal story, right? How many people are honest in my kingdom? That is the question that Akbar has a doubt. So he says, put a big vessel in the middle of the city. Tell every family to pour a cup of milk. By the morning, the cup will be filled with milk. Then in the morning when Akbar goes and sees what is there? It's filled with water, which like whitish water. Why? Some honest people still poured milk, the rest threw water. Why water? Nobody will find out. Yes or no? As long as you are mixing milk with water, nobody will find out whether you poured water or milk. So collectively, all of us are honest, but individually, we may be the minus. And that is something that you cannot take away from a human being. Yes or no? We are all morally corrupt, at least in one point or the other. We are not flawless human beings. Yes, but why that particular thing? See, we can go into behavioral psychology also. When you see chips or any sugar items, why do you rush? Like, why do you prefer binge eating them? Dopamine, but that is a historical evolution, right? Dopamine did not create itself. So you always had that urge. So back then we are evolving as a human race. We don't have access to food. We don't have fridge. We don't open fridge and open a Lay's packet, right? Yes or no? So the moment we see some resource, it's now or never. You found a half-eaten animal that a lion or a tiger has left. It's food. What will you do? You savor as much as you can do, because you don't know when is the next time you are going to find the food. So when you found all these precious resources, sugar, salt, right? You eat a lot, you save a lot, and that has been hardwired into our DNA for thousands of years. That is an evolution. Now the same thing is used by the corporate companies. Your evolution is used against you. Yes. So ethics, when understood in human psychological way, we can always understand that nobody is perfect, no system is perfect. Now, how is this useful, sir? Why is this plus and minus concept important? A subordinate came to you saying that your colleague is harassing her. Your colleague is your best friend and he is the most honest guy you know. He is very, very efficient. Probably the entire administration will collapse without him in his particular department. Yes? Will you let go of him? Will you talk to him? Will talking solve the problem? Will you say her, you follow the due process, you take it up to the higher rights, you complain. What will you do? The first minus is your Achilles heel. Yes or no? It's not only his heel, it's also your heel. Why? That is where you are tested. The first minus is always your biggest headache. After that, either you are corrupt or honest. Only two cases, binary. There can't be grades of honesty, right? There can't be grades of corruption. You are either corrupt or you are not. Ego is a form of moral corruption. I will let the industry destroy, I will let the particular department destroy, but I don't want to get transferred from here. The entire administration or entire department's efficiency is going to Ganga. I don't care, but I want to stay in that particular post. Okay, I can bring in some honest official. Caste, for example, if you are an officer, you are a higher authority, okay, under you don't want someone else from a different caste. That is also a form of corruption, right? This person is very honest, very efficient, but because he is not from your caste, you don't want him. This is what you see in the actual government offices. People will be shunted out based on so many things, egos. This person is efficient, that is why your ego is hurt. What will you do? You don't want your subordinate to be smarter than you. The problem with number twos in any department is what? They think that they are smarter than the boss. That happens, right? And very few bosses are not insecure. If I am the boss, what will I do? Okay, somebody else is working for me very hardly. Let him work. Okay. But that is not the case. For my ego, for my caste, for so many corruptions. All those are moral corruptions, right? That because of this particular choice, you are damaging the entire administration.
But isn't that like reflex? How is it a moral question? Not having somebody from my caste or having somebody from my
Greater good for greater number of people. Efficiency, again I am saying, you can bring someone who has already have corruption cases. You are bringing in Y, who is already under lens of ACB. A is efficient. You are choosing Y, right? Yes, it's a preference, but what is the outcome? The department, let's say this particular thing is a department. The department is going to suffer. You get the idea? See, again, there are many cases, right? For example, for a simple understanding sake, RTC is there, Road Transport Corporation. So, 20 tires are being ordered. Only 18 tires are delivered. What happened to the 2 tires? Y has eaten them. Okay. But what is even better corruption? A. Actually, he has ordered 25 tires. But everybody still believes only 20 tires were ordered. Out of them, 2 tires are gone. What happened to the 7 tires? So, tire, like one small cog in the entire mission. What will happen? A bus has broken down, which is supposed to go to a remotest village. Right? There are no spare tires in the depot. So probably some school kid who is supposed to go to the exam hall or a pregnant lady who has to go to the checkup is not going. These are manifestations of not having ethics. So you don't know when you are doing the 2 corruptions that you are killing a pregnant lady somewhere. Right? So when you are when you are efficient, when you are honest, you don't know that you are going to save the life, but you are still doing your responsibility for the sake of doing. That is why systems will survive. As simple as that. Yes.
At the end of the day, my preference also should be rational and ethical for me to be that person.
Again, see, his question is totally understandable, but the thing is, we are not only talking about the ethics of individual, right? When I am under this particular department have rules and regulations. They have a work culture, and what is the public service is welfare maximization. I am in the department to serve the public, right? At the end of the day, why is the entire government there? To serve the public. Again, as I wrote in this particular thing, right? So here ends matter. Here means also matter. Why am I taking only 1 liter of water, and what is the end? Both means and ends matter here. But here ends matter. Whose ends? Not the organization ends. My ends are mattering. I am getting 4 liters of water. Are we clear? Yes. Simple example. You get the milk packets or newspaper every day morning, right? Yes or no? So there is some uncle in your colony who keeps on roaming by 4:30 a.m. in the morning, and he takes away milk packets. Okay. What will happen? Everybody will start waking up at 4:30, right? Yes or no? Simple manifestations. You must have seen it at least one case, some neighbor taking away the courier, or some neighbor taking away milk packet, or newspaper. Worst case in Delhi hostels, newspapers are always an issue. People save 100 rupees per month by not getting newspapers. Yes? Missing woods for the trees. Are we clear? Yes. So any questions? See, again, this is theory. What did I tell you? When you do case studies, that is when you see every plus and minus in manifestation. Okay.
So now here Y is corrupt, but in terms of efficiency, Y is more efficient than A.
No, I didn't say that.
I mean-
okay, you are saying a scenario. Okay.
Then in such a situation, you choose A or Y.
I will still choose A because tomorrow you are in the middle of something and a case is convicted against you. Dobi ka kutta na ghar ka na ghat ka. You are efficient, okay, but you are not there in the department forever. A is less efficient than you, but he gives the stability to the system. See, why are IAS officers called as flywheel? Congress government, BJP government, Congress government. IAS officers are the cogwheels that turn the system, right? They transfer the system from government A to government B, and they will still be there. Yes, country can run without politicians, but not without bureaucrats. They are the underlying cogwheels, right? So tomorrow Y was convicted and he was removed from the job. Okay, so the entire system will come to standstill, and that is more dangerous. And in the meanwhile, the damage he will do, let's say he has done 2 more times of corruption, knowing very well that I'm providing milk to the snake. What will happen? He will be gone, more damage will be there. Okay, then yes, simple understanding. Think of apple, a red apple, a nice red apple, juicy apple. Introduce 2 worms inside the apple. What will happen? After 1 day, 2 days, you don't know. When you feel like that department is supposed to work, when you start eating it, it's hollow inside. Why? It is not efficient. Best way to understand manifestation is COVID. When COVID came, why did we rush for creating new beds in the hospitals? Why didn't we do it for the last 70 years? Because system was rotting from inside. From outside, everything was functioning. Only when COVID came, we realized the importance of public healthcare system. Yes. So I prefer A, who doesn't eat, rather than Y, because when the job comes, there is a fire. That fire engine don't have tire. Then there is no point in maintaining the entire fire department for so many days. Clear? Any examples? Any questions? Okay. All right. So again, consequences of ethics. Ethics need not come from universal values, right? Not everything has to be told by Aristotle or some thinker or someone. We can always have manifestations. You see any plants or any tribal hamlets, we have something called as sacred groves. What are sacred groves?
Manifestation. They are
Assigned with the cultural
Religious, spiritual or cultural value has been assigned to a natural resource. So why did I add those religious or cultural systems to plants? To develop habit inside the human that you need not indiscriminately destroy the forest, and at the same time you know the importance of the forest. Yes or no? Because my livelihood more or less depends on it. For someone sitting in Hyderabad, you don't know the value of forest. Why? You at the click of a button you get everything, but for someone living in a tribal hamlet or in the remotest corners of the country, they have a direct correlation with the sacred groves. And it's not like I'm not breathing oxygen from Amazon, right? Yes or no? So everything is interlinked, but the the wider the net you create, the less and less the connections you make. Why do I need to reduce my paper usage? It will have some long-term ramifications. No? Small things. Every there is a tricking drop, leaking tap. Yes, drop. For one day it doesn't make any sense, but per annum it's around 1200 liters. So 1200 liters of water is wasted every year by a leaking tap. So think of the amount of water that you can actually send into the ground or save in the first place. That is ethical practices. I hope you understand. See, again, it's not a judgment. Remember, not everybody is in the same financial position, not everybody has the same time and luxury. I can always go for a 3-star AC or a 5-star AC. I can go for an R32 or a 410. 410 is cheaper. R32 is a bit costly. Why will I choose that? I have knowledge. Yes or no? That every AC that I purchase will have ramifications on the global warming. So at individual level, the choices are mentioned, are made. Yes? Are we clear? See, when do Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam concept come into the picture? When I accept that every person on the planet is someone that I can link to. Yes or no? Only when I am ethical or moral that I can appreciate Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Yes. So Indian society is a ethical society more or less. It always had good concepts, but we are losing touch with the appreciable qualities of Indian society. Clear? So again, if you see the DK Balaji book, he has written it into 3 different concepts. One is brand equity. At individual level, society level, we have discussed. At organization level, he breaks into 3 barriers. One is brand equity, employer-employee relation, and stakeholder relationship. But there are 10,000 other ways where you can see the manifestations of ethics or consequences of ethics. Yes. For example, you must have seen something in toll booths before the fast tags. When the toll opens, okay, 2 cars will go in one go. Yes or no? Like you pay the amount to a toll booth operator, he will open the gate, 1 car has to go, the car behind that also quickly goes away before the door is closed. Okay, 5 rupees you are saving, or 25 rupees you are saving, or 100 rupees you are saving. Yes. So is it a wrong thing? It's illegal first place, right? In the first place it's wrong. You are not paying taxes to the government. But what kind of standards are you setting to the society? If you see the early morning 8 to 8:30 traffic signals, parents will be taking their kids to the schools. Yes or no? 3, 4, 5, it doesn't matter. The thing is, you don't stop at the red light, you are breaking the signal. So what lesson are you teaching to your own kids? No, it's okay to break the rules. What happens if everyone in the society follows rules? Like if you are from Hyderabad, or if you are from any city with local buses, right, footboarding. When a bus comes, everybody will fall on the bus. There is no order, there is no queue. Yes or no? Like people will rush in, rush out. Even in the metro also, you must have seen the same thing. When somebody is coming, you go face to face with him, right? Either let him come out or stand on the side, but no, everybody for themselves. Then what will happen? Chaos will come into the picture. Yes or no? So all these problems happen at individual, society and organization level also. So two people are there, both of them are equally hardworking, but I have given a bottle to the manager, I got promotion. Will the other person have the same morale or motivation to work equally hard for the organization? No. So the employer-employee relation, the CEO doesn't know all these things, right? CEO have 10,000 other managers under him. So that particular manager is corrupt. Yes, he is promoting the wrong person for the wrong reasons. Then organizational efficiency is coming down. Yes. So the same thing applies to brand equity. For example, recently Bajaj has spoken against certain things that in this present ecosystem that are happening, right? He has also blacklisted 3 channels. Bajaj company has blacklisted 3 channels, saying that we won't be providing ad in those channels because they are promoting communal hate. Okay, so that is an ethical choice that particular person is making. Yes. Say for example, Elon Musk has yesterday announced that bitcoins are accepted for purchasing the Tesla cars, right? There is no wrong, right? No crime, no harm. But are you sure that every bitcoin that is going to come is coming from the right places? As you have also seen, the bitcoin energy consumption is very high. Yes, the bitcoin energy consumption is very, very high. So can we link it to sustainable planet? Yes, if there is no crime, again we cannot blame Tesla for choosing cryptocurrency, but is it a right choice to make?
You can have also the other side of, like, the currency notes will be, like, ultimately in the future currency notes will be banned.
You have other formats, right? Visa, UPI. Then
Digital payments may prevail at that time.
Cryptocurrency is more about trust, right? The trustless society has promoted the cryptocurrency. There is a very famous Telugu line in the Bahubali movie, right? Ottesi oka mata, sorry, not Bahubali, Chhatrapati. Ottesi oka mata, ottekunda oka mata. We all clapped, happy, felt happy so far. That, like, it's a very beautiful line. That means I will not say some line with promise or without promise. That means if I say something, it's truth. Okay, what is the need for that word to be even said? That as a society we have lost trust on the individual word, right? So when we add something, we want to emphasize something, we want to underline or highlight, what we will do? Promise. No, pinky promise. No? Why do you have to say that word promise? When I said something, that is my bond, right? My word is my bond. That should be the standard. Yes, if you are selling that bottle, I believe that bottle is genuine. What is the need for non-fungible tokens and blockchain technology? Because there is no trust. That is where Bitcoin got so much popularity, because of the unbreakable trust it creates using technology. That is what blockchain ledger is all about. The same is with near fungible tokens. Yes or no? So you find the trust, Bitcoin will collapse overnight. Yes or no? It's not about technology, right? It's about the trust that it is providing to me. Nobody can alter the transaction. If I say I have given you 100 rupees, I have given you 100 rupees no matter what. So when the trust system is developed in other formats of payments, probably no use for blockchain technology. It is not that easy, I know, but I'm just telling you hypothetically. Trust is what is promoted by Bitcoin. It's not the technology. Again, it comes to human interaction. I am trusting the non-fungible token. Yes or no? It's like the verified accounts for Twitter, right? It's just in NFT is what? Providing a tick mark as this is genuine. That's all. Clear? Yes. So again, when you don't have good employee relations, morale is down. Yes. Brand equity in public service. For example, you can take Election Commission of India. Election Commission yesterday or day before yesterday also Mamata Banerjee was saying Election Commission was working for the present government. Okay, EVMs are bad. Then election commission has to come with a full page ad. 325 crore voters have so far voted in EVMs. They are foolproof. We have VVPAT. So a constitutional body has to repeatedly say, I am a constitutional body, for God's sake, I am above all this trash. So why did we come to that kind of society? Are we clear? So brand equity, again you can take Bajaj example, you can take Sachin Tendulkar example. Sachin Tendulkar never promoted alcohol or tobacco related products. Yes, there is a very famous Bollywood star for Pan Parag. Is that no? So and there is a famous Punjabi cricketer who promotes McDowell's. So again, their personal choices. As you said, it's a personal choices. He is not asking you to drink, right? Yes or no? He is not asking you to drink. He is not asking you to buy the Pan Parag. He is saying that these are good things.
But it has some ramifications.
Sorry?
It has some ramification on society, right? They think what they promote
He
is a
himself being a celebrity,
Hmm.
promoting something
Hmm.
on the society.
You know, Kajal Agarwal wears that particular white coat and goes and, you know, have you used that Colgate toothpaste? You know, speaking. So why will you buy when a movie actor will say, you know, buy the toothpaste? It's isn't it your choice also?
It's sad.
Yes. Okay.
Maybe
That
trend
choice is being
creation.
developed within us. Actually.
Choice is created within us. Okay.
Trend creation.
Trend
by the
creation.
celebrities.
Mhm. Yes, you get the point? No? So brand equity has to be maintained. And the most important thing is ethical marketing. Let's say there is a company called as Aiva. No, not promoting it, but there is a company called as EIWA, Aiva Honey. Okay, they are probably the first honey company in India with 100% traceability. Okay, and it's cruelty free honey practices. Okay, so that means they are not burning or smoking the honey nest, and they are not using cruel methods to extract the honey. They are doing it in the safest and cleanest way possible, and it's 100% clean and pure. So it's an ethical business practice. The honey is a bit costlier than what you find in a supermarket, but I prefer to purchase that particular honey. Why?
Ethical consumer.
All the stakeholders involved, including the honeybees, are respected. Normally we don't consider them as a stakeholder. Yes, but that company is created around honeybees, right? You get the concept. So those ethical brand practices, if you see any textile or something recently, nowadays they will say no child labor is used in this particular product manufacturing, something, or no animals are harmed during this movie making.
Apple itself says that it doesn't give chargers.
Doesn't give chargers because it wants to buy you sell you chargers. Okay, so for sustainable development, sustainable development of the planet. Yes, so you know, for sustainable development you don't create chargers, right?
But what?
That is what, you know, I'm not calling it A, I'm saying alphabet before B. Okay, so you get the concept, right? So ethical brand practices. Coffee, Araku coffee now have a lot of brands. They are saying we tie up with the farmers, there are no middlemen, and a good amount of money will go to the farmers. The same with milk companies. So now everybody is saying that ethical practices are what we are following and purchases, and people are choosing those brands over normal brands because of ethical practices. So organizations which create brands based on ethical values are always respected. Yes. So I think there is an example in Robin Sharma's book also. So normally when we have a broken handle of suitcase or something, what will they ask? Give us a warranty card, your warranty has expired, blah blah blah, so many things, right? So he goes to a particular company service shop and he says, you know, the handle is broken. The customer care executive doesn't ask the warranty, doesn't ask anything. All she does is she takes a look at the suitcase. She knows it's from her company, right? She's just an employee in that company. She takes it, she repairs it, and she gives it free of cost. Nothing asked. So he says that is the best customer service. And for the rest of my life, I will keep buying that particular brand because of that small example. So companies which create that brand equities on ethics are going to survive for a long time. Yes, Ratan Tata, probably we will purchase or prefer Tata products. Why? He's a good philanthropist. So he donates a lot of money. Yes, so in the longer run, ethical society will create ethical products, and ethical products will be appreciated. Yes or no? So if you talk to your parents or someone, 250 or 500 grams of honey is what? 80 rupees, 120 rupees. Okay, in Aiva 500 grams is around 600 rupees. What will they say? Let the honeybees be honeybees. Okay, we will go for. I'm not stereotyping. I'm generally speaking. That is the mindset of the people. But that company is still running. It is making profit. What does that tell you? There are people who appreciate ethical practices. So more and more brands will move towards ethical practices. Yes or no? See, again, we don't know the milk that is coming from, right? Where it is coming from. There is a there is a farm in Hyderabad known as Sid's Farm. Sorry?
It gives the names of the cows.
Sid Farm. Okay, Sid Farm is in Hyderabad. You can go there and visit that particular thing, and they are practicing the ethical practices. So on a weekend treat, you can go to the particular farm, see the cows and all those things. The milk is a bit costly than the normal one, but you know where your milk is coming from, right? Let's say, I'm not saying Amul or other people are doing something illegal, but what I'm trying to tell you is, I don't know. Probably they are using the mechanized versions, okay, to sell more milk. So one day I will promote the ethical business. At the same time, I'm keeping the cow happy, the farmer happy, and I am also happy that I'm doing something good for the society. Are we clear? Yes?
So what is overcharging itself ethical?
Is overcharging itself ethical? Again, it has to be normalized, right? Till everybody are to maintain that kind of profit. Say for example, you are a farmer, honeybee farmer. So I have certain standards for you to maintain. That will increase your cost of compliance. That cost of compliance has to come from somewhere, right? See, when I say organic farming, including the water has to be pure, right? If the water is full of pollutants, but the land is organic, the crop is inorganic. In Himayat Nagar, nearby here, there is a, what is that shop? There is hydroponics, Farm Fresh, I guess. I don't know. In Himayat Nagar, you can go and see. There is a Farm Fresh or something, hydroponics. So they have all these leafy vegetables in the bowls there. You can directly go and pick the leafy vegetables, including pesticide free and all those things free. So your vegetables are actually clean. They are organic. So to maintain that hydroponic in the middle of the Hyderabad, it will cost me. Yes.
So again, all this can be only be done when people are able to take care of
Afford themselves.
afford themselves.
Hmm.
Given that public service is not for those people and then for the other section of people, what motivates them to come to ethical companies?
For people, again, in the longer run, everybody will have that knowledge, right? See, again, not everybody is going to Farm Fresh. As you rightly pointed out, only people who can afford it. But why are they going to that particular place? Because there are a lot of pesticides and so many other things. Then probably I will force all the farmers to go for organic farming in the proper sense. I will motivate them. It may not cost me as much as the hydroponic stuff, but it will at least promote that ethical awareness both in the farmer and me. See, farm.
That will still raise the cost of whatever the production is, right?
Definitely.
My affordability of still that new technique
So,
that is coming, even though I cannot afford that.
Eat that and develop issues, or go for healthy choices. Then I will subsidize the farmers, right? Then see, right now if I subsidize the farmer, I have to subsidize 90% of the farmers. When 85% of the farmers are moving on their own, only 5% who cannot afford, the buyers are the producers. Those people I can subsidize from government side. You get the point, right? So I'm not going to subsidize the hydroponic guy or farmers who can afford. So slowly when the awareness in the society breeds, like if I eat that particular spinach, I'm going to get lead and other pollutants in my body. Then I will raise some complaints. Some modifications will be done everywhere. Cost might also come down, right? Solar panels, you take the best example, solar panels. But solar electricity is very cheap in India right now. That was not the case 10 years ago. Now everybody can afford solar energy because scales. Yes. We are going back to the traditional routes, then automatically things will change. Okay, stakeholder, I told you, for example, during COVID times, there are some companies which have given full salaries instead of firing the people. And the employees of that particular companies are actually more loyal. Right? So, I know a software company in Hyderabad, one of my friends told me, his company has around 250 employees. The boss came and said, one day, I have a lot of profit in the last 5 years. Okay, we will use that profits to pay salaries to you. So the productivity of the company actually gone up. He told me this, we used to be very lazy, right now we are very efficient because of gratitude towards him. So ethical practices actually promote good business practices. So you can always think about it, right? Gratitude goes a long way. Are we clear of the consequences of ethics? Every minus is a danger sign. The first minus you see in your life is where you have to be extra alert. If you slip for the rest of your life, you are slam dunk. Are we clear?
Sir, an organization we can bring the success of bank like Punjab National Bank.
Yes, definitely you can bring that employer, one single employer has brought down the stakeholders, entire stakeholders, right? You are a single manager in Punjab National Bank, you have done corruption. Shares have come down, company value have come down, reputation has gone down, everything has gone to drain.
But sir, doesn't this argument disincentivize reformation?
In which sense?
Like if a person has slipped probably once, but like he doesn't have an incentive to get reformation because he knows it will be used against him forever.
So he cannot come back, right? Say for example, as I told you, you're an IAS officer, you want to be honest for the rest of your life, okay, but that minister will never allow to be honest forever, right? So there is nothing that the system can do. Either you accept it, you come clean that I have done this particular corruption, you go yourself to the IACB, get suspended, get some punishment, you then come back, then you are clean. But again, as you told, the system has to create such kind of ecosystems to give second chances. But again, it's very hard, right? There is a huge amount of competition to replace you. People will be like wolves waiting for your downfall. He failed, okay, my promotion list increased. Yes? Any questions? Right. So tomorrow on Monday we will have DNA classes, and again Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday we will have ethics classes. Clear? Yes. See you all tomorrow. Thank you.